Top of the morning to you, ladies, gentlemen, and whoever might be watching out there. Late afternoon here, actually, and it's been one of those days. You ever have those days? Just seems like everything you want to do doesn't work for you. That's how today's gone. It is Tuesday, so it checks out. This video is going to be a solution to a problem, a common problem on the Bitcoin blockchain. And I actually went through this issue today. And so I'm going to try this out, film it. And so if anybody out there runs into this same issue, you'll know where to go to. So the issue here is that I was trying to send Bitcoin today and I needed it to be sent pretty fast. So I couldn't just set a fee and wait for the mempool to clear. I needed to set a higher priority transaction fee. And I'm kind of going to walk you through the whole process of what I went through here. So whenever I go to send Bitcoin, first thing I do is I go into Sparrow and I have the address that I want to send it to. I paste it into there, and then I see what they're suggesting for a fee. Because every time you have to send Bitcoin, you have to set your own fee. And I'm going to walk through that in just a sec. But I also go to a website called MensPool. So mempool.space, if you've gone through the course, you've seen how this looks and everything, but I'm going to bring it up again just for display purposes here. So let me share the screen. And the crazy thing is I was just about to film a video because this transaction had been stuck for probably 5 hours and I wanted to be sent right away. So I got to the point where I'm like, okay, well, I need this to be sent. I'm going to actually increase the fee so it sends faster, because I was waiting and waiting and waiting for the mempool to get down low enough in fees where it would pick up my transaction. Okay, so I'm going to just basically redo this and pretend that I'm sending the same transaction that I was just doing that actually now confirmed. So basically when I got all this set up, I got the computer open, the webcam set up, everything working, the first confirmation went through. So I'm unable to do that. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paste this in here. I'm going to call this RBF. So RBF basically stands for replace by fee. So when you go to send a transaction, you set the transaction fee, which I'm going to do right here. But then if the mempool gets really congested, really busy, and all of a sudden the fee that you set isn't being picked up by the next block or the next blocks, you can actually increase that fee, which is called replace by fee or RBF. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to send 20,000 sats. This is going to be very painful for me to do, wasting sats. But you can see here, you set the fee. So this is under mempool size. You can also use target blocks. I prefer using mempool size. And so you can see here, this is a medium priority. You can set it to high priority, low priority. The higher the priority, the more it's going to cost you. And as I talked about in the course itself, that think of this like a lineup at the bar. It's Halloween 2012. And there's a huge lineup at the bar. So you can either wait outside in the cold, or you can go to give the bouncer a $100 bill and he's going to get you in right away. So it's the same kind of idea here. You're in line essentially to get into the confirmed blocks. And the more you pay, the faster you get confirmed. So I'm going to set this as a low priority, and then I'm actually going to bump it up afterwards. So let's try low priority here, which is showing a rate of 33 sats per VByte. So keep that in mind here as I show you the next screen. So this is, I'm sending 20,000 sats. This is costing me 5,000 sats just to send because the mempool is very busy right now. And so let's hop over to the mempool. Okay, can we see this? Yes, we can. So this is what the mempool looks like. So typically you can see here that every 10 minutes, a new block is confirmed. And so basically when you sign a transaction, when you go to send a transaction, you're basically waiting over here in the orange blocks. And as soon as it crosses this line, this block, that means it's been confirmed. And so you can see the rates here. The last couple blocks have been 55, 55, 52. And before that, I was kind of waiting for it to get down to 55. That was my issue, is that I set it at 55 sats per VByte. And then it was going from 92 to 73 to 65 to 82, 73. And finally, right before I hopped on this video here, right here is when it got confirmed. So now we're sitting at about 52, and it looks like this is what you want to pay attention to right here, is that the next block is at 58 sats per V-byte, and then it looks like it's going down a little bit. So I set this at 33, which is significantly lower, and that's what you can do. That's what I would suggest. If you're not in any sort of rush to get this confirmed, I always set the fee much lower. And the nice thing about using the Sparrow wallet is that you can do this RBF replace by fee and bump up the fee if you need to. And before I forget, the other aspect of this is that if this ever happens to you, it's very easy to panic, which I did before I knew how to do any of this. I panicked. I emailed the guy from the Moon wallet, and he basically walked me through it. It's a little bit more challenging to do on Moon, but he didn't even mention the fact that if I were just to wait 2 weeks, it basically gets dropped from the mempool and gets put back into my wallet. So whenever this happens to you, don't feel like you lost your Bitcoin. That's not the case. It actually doesn't send, nothing happens until one confirmation gets completed. So until one of those is completed, it actually hasn't moved yet. And if it never gets confirmed, it just goes back into your wallet. And I believe that it's about 2 weeks, so 14 days approximately. And then it'll just get dropped from the mempool and put back into your wallet. So there's no real like in between limbo here. It's basically until that gets confirmed, it's still in your wallet, technically. Even though it's showing a balance that indicates that it's been sent, it hasn't actually been sent until that first confirmation is put through. So I'm going to go ahead and send this just one more time. I'm looking at these. It's about 59.50. So I know that this isn't going to get picked up right away. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use RBF, replace by fee, and then we should get it approved right away. So let's go back to the wallet. Okay, so this is back in the wallet here. I'm going to leave this as is at 33 sats per V-byte, and I'm going to create the transaction. And I'm going to finalize this for signing. Sign it. And I'm going to broadcast it. So you can see here, I don't know if you can see the pop-up or not, but it shows the sats coming out of my wallet. The status says unconfirmed here. When one confirmation is done, you'll see that 1/6 of this is highlighted here. And so until then, the Bitcoin actually doesn't leave your wallet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to this transaction. And we can see it too. So if we look at, oh shit. So if we look at it here, we see that it's unconfirmed. We got 0 confirmations right here. That's where you look. And then if you right click that, or sorry, if you go to zoom in a little bit here, you can get the transaction ID. So you copy that, and then you go back into the mempool. Sorry, I'm kind of bouncing around here, but I think it's important to kind of, if you're familiar with this, I'm sorry for the extra part of this video, but okay. So then I just paste this into here, and it'll bring up my transaction. It'll say first seen 1 minute ago. The ETA is in several hours or more, because these aren't picking up any transactions under 62 sats per V-byte. So you can see I paid 5,000 sats for that, which kills me. The fee rate I paid was 34 sats per V-byte. And one of the features is by using Sparrow, you can use RBF, replace by fee, which allows for fee bumping. So that's what we're going to do here. It says unconfirmed, and this mempool.space is such an amazing resource. If you can spend some time just playing around on this, you'll actually learn quite a bit by just kind of messing around and looking at different features of it. There's a whole bunch of different things on here. We're back. So when you highlight over the actual transaction itself, you have a little magnifying glass there. You have a hand with a little plus sign on it. I don't know what that is. Maybe a faucet of some sort. Don't know. I'm going to click that though, because that brings us to the transaction. So what we want to do here is I want to increase this to, yeah, this is going to sting. Let's go medium. What's the MensPool at right now? So I probably want this. I'm going to shoot for 55 again because the next block going through here is at 69, and then it kind of falls off a little bit. So I'm going to just go. I'm going to go 58. Let's go with that. So I'm going to slide this to be 58. The fee is higher, but it should go through faster now. And so I'm going to create the transaction. I'm going to finalize it. I'm going to sign it and then broadcast it. So now it updated this. The pop-up says that it took even more sats out of my wallet, which is painful. But the thing now is that if we go to the transactions, we look to see the transaction ID, copy it, head over back to MensPools, paste it in there. And that was honestly the first time I've actually watched a transaction go through there, or not watched, but I heard something happen there. And I'm thinking that's what happens when it got picked up. So earlier when I said that nothing was going right today, that actually went right, because if we look at what happened there, so the transaction got approved. I bumped it from 34 sats per vbyte to 58 sats per vbyte. And you can see this last block that confirmed is 58 sats per vbyte. So it just snuck in there. And you can see the transaction stuff here. It says it was timestamped 2 minutes ago. It was confirmed after 7 minutes. And I paid $3.28 and 8,000, almost 9,000 sats. That hurt. And it actually shows the RBF history too. So I bumped it from 33 to 58, and it went through in 7 minutes. So that's what you need to do. If you ever have a transaction that gets stuck, use RBF. And to be proactive in that, whenever you're sending Bitcoin, I like to use Sparrow, especially if it's an important transaction that you're sending to somebody, other than swapping back and forth between wallets. Always use Sparrow, because that's a pretty handy feature to be able to bump up the fee. Otherwise, it would sit there for 2 weeks and then I'd have to redo it. And it's just a pain in the ass. So there you have it. Successful video, RBF, utilize Sparrow, and check out MensPools if you have some free time. I know you're probably not as nerdy as I am, but there's lots you can learn just from messing around on MensPool. So sun's going down. Looks like I'm losing my face here. So we'll wrap this one up. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.